So I was meeting with a client yesterday, right? And because that's one thing I do is I health coach. And little backstory, just kind of who I am. That's how I got into the truth sharing realm. I got a job at a health food store, and this was a very conscious, very aware health food store. I then delved into the reality of things like GMOs and vaccines and our healthcare and food system, and then found every other rabbit hole from there. But I was meeting with this client, talking to her, yada yada, kind of assessing her, and she had chronic fatigue, but I also found out how toxic her body was. And this is a common theme that I find with pretty much every single client I come across, but also a theme of our collective, of our population at large, is that we have such toxic bodies. And I've done a couple videos on this channel regarding the Ascension process and the light being concept. Now, what I want to discuss in this video is the specific toxins and the specific poisons that get into our bodies and that literally disrupt that light within us, that completely screw our systems up, and that are actually, you could say, delaying the ascension process. A lot of people are into that kind of concept, so I wanted to talk specifically about what is the things that are harming our mind-body vehicles. Now, it all boils down at the physical base level to our nervous systems. Our nervous system is what runs our musculoskeletal system. When bodybuilders and powerlifters and athletes are trying to become stronger, what they really want to focus on is the nerves, not the muscles. The muscles run the nerves. The nervous system also controls all the other processes, all the organs of our body, everything else. So you can also think of it this way. The nervous system literally just runs off energy. It's electrochemical reactions. It's just physical energy, but it's also responsible for the energy of each other layer of who we are, the mental, emotional, spiritual layers. So on the physical level, we must look at the poisons and toxins that screw up our nervous system. First and foremost, heavy metals, right? Mercury, aluminum, cadmium, lead, things like that. Especially mercury and aluminum. These are two heavy metals that are quite literally pumped into us and sprayed over our heads by the powers that be, because they are trying to delay our conscious evolution. They don't want us to become more conscious, more aware, and more enlightened, because that will then ruin the control systems they have over us, because we'll begin to wake up and get it, right? So mercury and aluminum, how do these get into our bodies? Well, let's discuss mercury. Vaccinations are a massive way they get both of them into us. So many vaccines still have mercury, even though it's commonly thought of. They're not preserved in thimerosal anymore, but some very much are. And aluminum. If they don't put mercury in a shot, they put aluminum, which is just as bad, if not worse. When you look at the word aluminum, lumina in Latin means light. Anti is primarily a prefix used to denote the opposite of something. So you can think of aluminum as anti-light. It literally scrambles our body's ability to use light, to use those biophotons for our DNA to cohere with this light. So our aluminum is the best thing they could use to delay our ascension process, because it's screwing up our DNA. It's not allowing our DNA to cohere and turn on those junk DNA codes to enhance our psychic abilities. Okay, I kind of went through a lot of things there, but that's the basics of it, and the best way that I could explain. So, mercury and aluminum come from vaccinations, come from food. You must be very aware of the food you feed your body with. Most of it is not only nutrient deficient, but downright toxic. 50% of high fructose corn syrup samples have mercury in them. So beware of anything that's genetically corn derived, like corn syrup or maltodextrin or cornstarches. You must be very aware, ingredients, substances, everything. Aluminum is used as an anti-caking agent in a lot of foods and breads and salts and things like that. So be very aware. Be also aware of the cooking utensils you use, what you package your food in, like cans. Aluminum leach through cans, and also sometimes you just can't avoid the aluminum or the mercury because how much fossil fuel output has there been from coal burning and how many chemtrails have been sprayed over our heads. So that's why cleansing is really important. But you avoid what you can, and I'm giving you things to avoid. You also must avoid fluoride. Fluoride is another highly neurotoxic chemical. It'll often calcify our pineal gland, which is the center of our consciousness right there. Right? It's the antenna that connects us to that source field that connects everything. So we must keep it pure and clean. So avoid fluoride, avoid the fluoridated toothpaste, and don't you dare let your pediatrician offer your child a fluoridated supplement. Fluoride is also in your water. Get a water purifier if you need to. Fluoride will also be in many things. It is in some pharmaceutical medication. It is used in CFCs, and it's everywhere. So again, cleansing is important, but also one piece of information: when aluminum and fluoride react together, they are very they have an affinity to attract, and once they come together to make aluminum fluoride, it'll enhance the bioavailability across the blood-brain barrier of that compound. So it's interesting because these companies will, they're very reluctant to even study a chemical. EPA has 80,000 different chemicals in our environment, and whenever they study them, they only study one, and they'll study it on a couple mice, right? They never study toxins together because poisons together will compound their effects. So when we have the aluminum and fluoride and all this together, right, we don't really realize how bad it is. Now, also, heavy metals, fluoride, and glyphosate. Glyphosate has been shown to be extremely toxic, even in minute levels. Glyphosate is the primary ingredient in pesticides, especially the pesticides sprayed on genetically engineered crops. So buy organic as much as you can, all of you can, especially non-GMO. That's even sometimes more important than organic. So those are the basic tips that I can help you with. I hope you enjoy that information. I don't want this video to be a long ranty one, but I wanted to throw some very very usable pieces of information out there, because even in the spiritual disclosure ascension communities, you could say, I think a lot of the health information is not practical enough. I like it, it's very spiritual, but it's not, we need concrete stuff. So there was some concrete information. Let me know what you think of that. Comment down below, and let me know what you guys might want any health related information on next, because that's another one of my passions and fortes, along with looking into the science behind all the UFO and Ascension stuff and ancient history, but just how to take care of ourselves, our bodies. So anyway, peace, done.